Hi everyone, this is Kabi and today we are watching the tournament game from the new tournament that's going on right now called the Treasure Hunt, and in this mode we are looking to capture the 4 chests for the win, or also you can destroy your enemy's base and kill off their units, but on this map it will be rather a difficult task because we switched around the starting positions, and in these positions, which we actually used to have back in the day, it didn't work well for this particular reason that the enemy is so far away from you that it's really hard to defend the base. But in the mode where you're supposed to hunt for the chests, it's actually maybe not a bug but a feature. I'm not sure how good it is. I played a couple of games, but my opponent ended up being way more strong, so apparently it wasn't the great example. So you kinda can share the opinions if you like playing on this map and the chest model. You maybe would prefer the main bases standing like in the normal PvP, but anyway, we kinda don't hesitate too much shifting the things around in the tournaments, because it is a good place to kind of do experiments and try different things, because we have the different tournaments every other 12 days, so why not? Anyway, in the top side of the map appears Ayusta, player from Philippines, playing light, and the dark player is You're Dead, and this is the player from Russia, and I think the light faction is his main, but he just decided to play the tournament for the spare faction here, so we are witnessing the light against dark. And the first chest in this game will pop up in the middle, and a couple of units are gonna face out each other on this watchtower. Both players keep reinforcing with the starting units, and also Your Dad is adding the second rocks, while Ayusta decide to go for the tier 2, but the tier 2 is actually quite late. I'm not sure why is that. It seems to me like he just was a bit too quick with a sawmill, so now he's up to 1000 plus of wood, which he clearly doesn't need, but at the same time he just lacks the timing, so he sits back with the tier 2 timings. But yeah, he has an upper hand on a first chest with more swordsmen, and well, it kinda looks weird, right, because it is Your Dad who was adding the second rocks, but you can add the second rocks, but it doesn't mean that it will necessarily help you with the first 3 minutes chest, because it just pays off too slowly. And yeah, but it seems like many players make use of a lot of swordsmen in the early game in this mode, so you really want to have the tough swordsman for this mode. So at the same time, Ayusta added the Dwarven Forge and starting adding the Warsmith along with the Elventree. I'm not sure what this combo even is, but well, on the other side of the map, You're Dead just kind of switching to the Undertech just as normally. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of the late eater like this, but anyway, it kind of looks normally. So, well, I used to starting bearing, so I don't really get it why he even need the Elventree, because one could guess that he could have thought he might need the Elventree to be able to build archers in case if there will be aeronauts, something like that. But if you have Baron, you don't really need to even bother about aeronauts for quite a long time, and during that long time you may add the Elventree if you need it, and if you don't need it, then why? But well, let's see what I used to gonna do with all that, he also added the human monument, so he have all the 3 racial buildings right now, which is kinda not what you see every other game in War Legends. But as your dad has a lot of goons, actually more Warsmith could have a good use here. And in the meantime, your dad starting adding the skeleton archers, so you might think that Warsmith might not be the good idea anymore, but you actually need a lot of skeleton archers to make Warsmith not worth it. They are not worth Smith, of course, but still worth it mostly. Yep, and Baron is also great against skeleton archers, just like this. He shows off right here, drinks a bit of beer. And I'm still looking towards speeding up Baron a little bit after the passive ability. I don't really like it that he needs that many time after finishing drinking. I really think we need to look into it. To reduce some timings kinda after that passive ability to let him start shooting quicker or moving quicker. So anyway, Eater starts his active ability. All the light units pretty much went down. Eater also have the bonus regeneration. Well, your dad was not microing it here properly. He had to send the goons on the bombardier and send the Eater on the warsmith, since he couldn't get it onto the bombardier. Or alternatively, he could have sent the Eater to the Baron, so Baron has to run away. But the problem is that 2 goons are not guaranteed to deal with the warsmith. So this is why I suggested the other option. But anyway, this chest still not taken. I used to reinforcing with the knights. Also, this poor warsmith still alive, being consumed with the Eater, who seems not to receive the regeneration. So I think that is because warsmith actually died before being consumed. So even though the animation was played, it wasn't for real. This is why Eater didn't receive the extra regen, but well. Knight dies in the process, Baron goes down as well, and finally this chest is going to the dark player here. 2 rocks, a lot of reinforcements. Ayusta needs to start the hero, but he doesn't have the resources for that. This is because he ordered the knight in the queue. Not the greatest execution here. Well, I think he kinda needs to give up this chest and try to sneak away the enemy's mana well. In the meantime. Oh, this is the 3rd rocks. Well, this is kind of bold, but I kind of doubt that he might even have enough money, because he's down in supply, and if he keeps throwing the units away, he just gonna lose it, right? So this knight could have find a way better use if he was just routed to the enemy's mana well. So Ayusta kinda tries to delay the timing, but I don't really think that it was worth it to sacrifice the 2 units for this. And kinda obvious that getting another hero would be way better than building 3 rocks, which you don't even have money to use. Well, 3 rocks is kinda good in a way sometimes, but I don't know. You really need to be ahead to do it. So it will be way better to add a sanctuary, because healers are great in the current meta. Even the factory could could have been useful here, because a lot of the ground units. I wonder if Ayusta has bikers, because we are watching the Warrior League game, by the way, which is now called the Bronze League, yeah. So the guys, in theory, they still might have something not open, but I think the bikers are quite easy to open. But anyway, here the prince has been ended, Altar of Heroes upgrade just started, and in the meantime I love this base placement. It's not secured from the princess like at all, so she could have attacked this way, but she's not doing that, and otherwise the base is just kinda cute. Yep, so Ayusta's not attacking, makes sense, he's behind. Yerdet's not attacking. Well, he might not feel he's too much ahead. And he's not even too much ahead if we look on the food. I don't like it, adding the goons this late in the game. It's entirely wrong. But, yep, I guess he doesn't have the Rocketeers. And I think he has to have the Axemaster. So he needs a Totem of Orcs. He knows that, he builds that. So kind of fine. And I would just suggest to add a couple of Skeleton Archers maybe instead of the goons, because goons are, for me, they way too outdated here. But I don't know, maybe they can still trade kind of with the knights, especially if he in theory might have some fancy set for the goons, who knows. Yep, the Eater uses the great active ability, stuns the knight, destroys one. Prince is still on full HP, and at the same time goon trying to sneak away the chest and not makes it, because princess makes her way into the capture zone, and the dark player reinforces with the bombers, tries to find the better angle to attack, and it will be the princess the target for the bomber. Half HP, runs away. Necromancers in the process creates more skeleton archers, skeleton warriors. Many players suggested letting the necromancers creating the skeleton archers, but the fact we didn't like about that is that skeleton archers is entirely another unit who has to have the other leveling, and it's kind of weird. Who knows? Yep, a lot of scrolls being used in the process. Great micro with the princess. Also, I used to manage to spend all of his money while microing the princess, so it is kinda great played in this section of the game. I also like it how Yerdet stolen the light player's mana well. This is why we see so many thorns. But, well, reinforcing with the knights looks great right here. And for some reason Yerdet just doing nonsense. Probably he was too excited about the fight, and he entirely forgot that he needed the Axe Masters, he needed the second hero, so he could have built like 4 Axe Masters with the Grok, with the Chieftain by this time. But what he does is he just kind of brainlessly kept spamming on that goon card in the section, in the order section. Yep, so, well, many things was going on, so we kinda can't blame the player too much, because he was at least doing something, right? Not floating 3k gold, but yep, it is also good to do the right stuff, not the wrong stuff. But doing at least anything is already way better than just idling, watching the battle, having fun, then oh, he has a Rocketeers! Strong boy. But obviously another hero is way more important here than getting the Rocketeers against the Knights. But Rocketeers are fancy. I feel doing them sometimes as well. but I think rather against the snipers or ballistas, not against the knights. Against bikers is somewhat okay, but probably bombers are easier and better and cheaper. Well, not entirely cheaper, because you lose a bomber for one attack. In the meantime, Ayusta is gonna upgrade the Altar of Heroes to the 3rd tier, also the Warren Forge. I wonder if he's about to get snipers, but no Rex upgrades so far. And yep, Ayusta is just one chest from the victory now. And he doesn't even try to engage in the enemy's base, because you don't really have to in this mode. On some maps it's kind of worth it to come and see if you can take a couple of buildings down, but apparently not in this mode, because it is just way too long. Too long, I mean the path from one base to the other. So the guys are up to Castle 4, because in the current league's progression Castle 4 is available, I think, even in the Steel League, so very early. You don't need to get captain to get a 4th farm anymore, and this is obviously very healthy for the game. You can really get all the food supply in the earlier leagues. Well, the guys don't have the high farm levels, so they're only 102, so that means that farm is level 1, and Ayusta just has that talent for 2 food at the start. So, well, I really suggest to upgrade the farms in the first priority. Farms, the sawmill, because it is cheap. Citadel and castle also important, because you get more gold in the battle, but it is expensive, it's not cheap, but getting farm level and sawmill level is very cheap, so definitely worth it. But anyway, here starts the fight, the Ring of Fire and the Magic Blast. In return, Princess used the active ability, all the poor Rocketeers go down. They didn't make their thing, but, well, actually Princess still survive with the Knights, and active ability of the Eater has ended. It is 40 seconds. Paladin reinforced to the fight. Dark player cannot afford losing one more chest, because it will mean the end of the game. So this is why he has to commit here. But yep, he also has a lot of production quite close to this position, so he really can reinforce, but I'm not sure if attacking, if giving away the bomber for one healer was worth it, to be honest. And well, he builds a lot, but he really lacks the second hero, honestly. He needs a chieftain. Active abilities finally here. The great positioning, one knight already down. The other apparently will be killed with this Wolf Rider micro. Oh well, probably not. But Eater is still quite high in HP. He needs to eat to consume the healer to get a regeneration. He didn't make it, so he's gonna remain on low HP. And all the 3 light heroes reinforced to this fight. Only 1 Axemasters here for the dark player, who is very short on money too, so no hope that he's gonna change the situation in this fight anytime soon. Yep, and everything dies. The last chest go for the light player, and Ayusta, after the poor start, if we call the things what they were, actually was able to come back in this game with the good micro, and he didn't make the wrong calls, and he did the good fights. He didn't forget about the heroes. I'm not the biggest fan of that early 3rd barracks, and the guys really need to learn how to add another type of the production building, like the sanctuary or the workshop or the dark gate earlier instead of the third racks. But all in all, that was kind of the good game. Quick pace, a lot of engagements, and I think I like it. I just hope that you guys like it too. Thank to the players for sharing with us, and thank you all for watching. My name is Kabi, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.